Welcome to episode of the Bid Wars podcast. I should have practiced that. Anyways, welcome.
I think the audio might have been a little fucked up on that one because you yelled unexpectedly.
Sorry. Now that you've had your speaker test, we will cut to the show, and I don't know what comes next. So, Kyle, take it away.
Gotcha. We have a good one. We said last episode we were going to do the top 5 wingers in the world right now, left wingers specifically. But first, we'll just run through quick some of the news. Chelsea signed a defender. So, Nikos, who did they get?
All right, we picked up Hato from Ajax, big, young left back, center back. I think it's going to be pretty good. He's young, and so I guess we'll kind of see experience wise. I mean, he lit it up in for Ajax. So I think that's exciting to see that, a lot of potential there. But I think more importantly, to kind of notice in like Chelsea world is that we're doing business, not just buying. We've sold 3 midfielders today. So awesome to see people leaving. I'm a little bit upset about Dewsbury Hall because personally, I like him. I don't think he fit up in the starting role because we just have too many like center mids. So I think we're stacked in the midfield. I think it makes sense that we let go of a lot of midfielders, but we're getting money in. And I know a lot of people always like to talk about, oh, Chelsea bought 40-something players in like whatever, how many years. Well, we just sold like 6 people in the last 2 weeks, so I don't want to hear from anybody. So we got a lot of money in.
I have an interesting stat. The 3 players that Chelsea just sold yesterday would all be in the top 10 sales for Arsenal's entire existence.
Why do you say that?
Because it is so frustrating. It is so frustrating that we can't sell water to a fish. And I don't know what it. And you know what's funny?
Wait,
United
what are your
can't
top
really
sales?
sell. You know what? We did
we
it.
We sold Dewsbury Hall for 30
Don't
million.
go down this wormhole, Kyle.
Hold on, no. Okay, new segment.
He said what he had.
New segment. New segment.
Did we already establish that the Ox is their greatest sale of all time?
The Ox is the most we've ever sold anybody for 38 million.
Oh my god, ew!
Here's the can of worms.
Yep.
Here's Kyle.
Like Iwobi is one of our top 5 sales to Everton. It was like 35.
We sold you Nani Medway for 50 million.
He's English. Okay, he's English. English tax. And you know what? We're gonna sell him in 3 years for 19 million on a loan with an option to buy to wherever. God.
He's going to West Ham. That's so funny. It's
bad.
Terrible.
Even we're gonna talk about Luis Diaz. Trossard is a year and a half older than Luis Diaz. Luis Diaz just got sold for 80 million.
And you know what's funny? Actually,
Trossard has better numbers over the last 3 years than Luis Diaz, and we're struggling. Somebody offered us 20 million, and we were like, that's a little below what we want.
I have a question. Roughly 2 hours ago, in our group chat, you sent us a message saying Arsenal currently have the most valuable collection of academy graduates in their first team spot. That's good to know. Now, why aren't you going to sell any of them? Well, I'm sure you could sell one of them for your top business sale of all time.
They need them. They need them. They understand that. They did what Manchester City did, and they took their top academy talents and they sold them young before they had a chance to either, the 1 in 5 that are actually really good and the other 4 that are just exciting prospects who they can get a lot of money for, and then take that money and spend them on established players that are already some of the best in the world at their position. They probably wouldn't be perennial second-place finishers. But they have this attachment to these homegrown talents, and Arsenal fans love to say, oh, look at our academy talents that are in the squad right now.
Hail end, baby. Hail end.
But
I don't know, man. There's just something, but and I'm not here to defend this, and I really want to get back to just the quick transfer news before we get into the segments tonight. But I will say that there is something very prideful about supporting a club that authentically grows their success. Now, of course, there are players in our history that have been remarkable who were not homegrown, but we have a pedigree that we're known for with homegrown talent, as other clubs are, but we are one of the best. So there's something just extra prideful about doing it ourselves that, yes, is frustrating to maybe immediate success, but there's something really, to me, prideful about it, that not taking a jab, but maybe you can't understand. So
Give me 5 of those names.
Well, you have like
what names?
Wolcott, Jack Wilshere, and they didn't just start here; they ended here in a sense. Like they were here for such a long
Fabregas,
time.
like you could almost go generation by generation, like every 5-year stint, and just be like,
there's another one.
Yeah, I mean, there's a reason why our
how many of those
U21 team is
translated to success.
I think all of them were successful. They were all good prospects that had good Premier League experience. We obviously didn't win the league, but that's not necessarily just because of Jack Wilshere. You know,
because you know what Fabregas did.
True.
He came to Chelsea and won it all. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, but I think we kept those guys for whatever reason. Arsenal wants to keep them. We don't. We would rather keep our internal prospect a year or two later to not make money. Like Reece Nelson is still here. He's still at this club. Like, we still have not sold him. He obviously is not our left winger going forward. He hasn't been for the last 3 seasons. We still haven't sold him. We always keep those prospects just too long where their value peaked, and now they're coming down, and now we're going to sell them.
And realistically, it's because how many first-team chances did Reece Nelson get? He got a few, but how many did he really get?
Yeah.
Like, you also don't really necessarily give the opportunity to those players.
Nelson,
I mean, people shit all over Pep all the time for it, right? Like McAtee isn't getting enough time. Palmer didn't get enough time. Like that's kind of what happened with Palmer. Palmer said, "Look, I want to go on loan so I can play first team minutes because I think I'm ready for it." And Pep said, "Either you're staying or you're leaving. That's it. I can't promise you that you're going to play first team minutes because, like, he doesn't promise anybody first team minutes. It's if you're playing well, you're going to keep playing. If you're not playing well, you're not going to keep playing." And it resulted in him getting sold. Like, you guys hold on to these guys and keep them on the bench and give them some garbage time minutes, and
he
diminishes their value.
Yeah, he played a lot of Nelson just specifically played a lot for Arsenal, but like you said, it was a lot of 80 minutes, 60 minutes, coming in at 60 minutes, coming in at 80, coming in at 70. Because I think he's close to 100 games for Arsenal.
Because you guys have world-class Gabriel Martinelli in front of him.
My question is why don't you guys capitalize on this like super aggressive market? This market's so inflated / like aggressive right now that
because
like players
because we have a thin squad. We had a thin squad, so we couldn't release too much. And the stuff that we were going to, why would we release our best talent right now? That's 3 to 5 years out. It doesn't.
But that's also
sense.
That's also a gamble. Like for right now, Tyreek George for Chelsea. He's 19 years old. He's played maybe a handful of games. I'm pretty sure he might be homegrown. I don't know the logistics behind that one. But he's 19 years old. He's had a handful of games, and he's really good. His market value is like 17 to 20 million right now. So
right, but why? I think because why are you going to sell them for 15 to 20 when you are confident that you're going to have them when they're worth like a Saka 100 plus?
Just because you had a diamond in the rough,
How many 100+ million players are there? Like, your academy doesn't produce $100 million players left, right, and center. Like, that doesn't happen.
So to answer Nikos again, it's like growing a tree and then cutting it before it really matures and just being like, well, there's still some value in it now. And I get that there's right and wrong perspectives to both of that, but when Wenger came in and took the team over, he literally changed the identity of how football should be run as a club, and that's to grow your roots of your talent from your surrounding area. Like, he literally tried to grow it from the roots of North London, have people go to Hale End, have them have a good upbringing in what at times has been a tough area of London, And again, some people may be like, well, screw that, just go buy the good talent. And again, like I, for some reason, liked that about Arsenal. It wasn't just because of one player or the Invincibles. This is another thing I like about them. So you can argue it or ask questions, but that's what the club chose 25 to 30 years ago.
You made an analogy that why cut down a tree early? You know, I want to change the light to red because it's bad. Deforestation. You know, shit happens. What if something happens where that tree gets cut down unintentionally? That has nothing to do with you guys. We're not cutting this tree down. But oops, tree's down. We cleared up a tree. Tree was malnourished. Tree never grew. Tree stayed.
Tree has a gambling problem. Tree has, it could be anything. And sorry I'm cutting you off, but I think we're even going the wrong way about this because it's not cutting down the tree. It's you're digging the tree out of the ground, you're bundling up the roots, and then you're selling that tree to someone else because the tree may have potential to become a really big tree, but it may also be a Charlie Brown Christmas tree. You don't know yet.
All right, so
that's exactly what I was going to say.
I'm going to give you the positive outcome. You give me the negative outcome. And again, like the club chooses to believe in the positive outcome, which is why they probably hold on to their players. I don't know what else to answer with your question.
And Wenger really grew those homegrown talents in Henry and Petit and Vieira and Pires and all those guys that helped them be invincible, right? Those were all Arsenal homegrown talents. He didn't take those from his home country.
I just wanted to transition to a deforestation joke. That was my whole thing. I will change it back to blue.
I think the
hold on.
Okay.
I just have to say, like, yes, congratulations, JP. You named a few people that were great to our club that we didn't home grow, but you have the likes of Tony Adams, Ashley Cole, Jack Wilshere, Cesc Fabregas, Bukayo Saka, Emile Smith-Rowe.
Half of those people had better careers with different teams.
Okay,
like, you can't even say that. Like, you can't even say that.
All right,
cool. Again, they were homegrown, but they were more successful everywhere else. Bukayo Saka is your probably most successful person, but you guys also still haven't really won anything. So I get the pride of having a homegrown person, but when you guys sell them at the right time, that makes the most sense.
I think that there is a line of keeping certain guys and trying to, and you're going to make mistakes like Cole Palmer.
I was going to say, yeah,
that's a mistake. But I think that you can also list 5 that City sold, Chelsea sold, people who sell a lot that were successes. You made 30 million on a guy who's worth nothing. He's couldn't even find him right now. You know what I mean? So I think that there is a line for whatever reason. Arsenal are way too far on the work, just going to keep everybody line. Like Reece Nelson should have never been here for the last 4 years. Like after he had his breakthrough season, you kind of knew like he would just keep running down the wing and just keep, you know, it's like, all right, he's not there. That should have been a, hey, go on to West Ham, go to Fulham. Here, give us 40, 50 million for this Premier League experienced homegrown winger. 100%. Like that's definitely, so there's a line. I think they need to do better selling. So we'll see if Berta can.
And Chelsea's not perfect.
Now.
You know,
we
got rid of Salah. We got rid of De Bruyne.
Yeah.
It seems like
you guys had a transfer ban. Of course, you're not perfect.
Well, I mean, that wasn't really the conversation we were having, but
unethical.
What do you? What about Garnacho?
I don't want to stay the fuck away from our team.
What? Okay.
You guys are going to buy him, and I'm going to laugh at you all season.
That feels like
hold on. Can I ask why?
Well, in your own context, you should be open to the fact that you might sign Garnacho, and he might be shit, and he might not score any goals, and he might be a flop, and you might look bad having signed him, and he may help you win nothing.
That bicycle kick he scored was sick, though. So if you could do that again.
All right, so buy him for a single bicycle kick.
Okay.
He's got to be the same price as Madueke.
Now listen, I don't want him. I personally, I'm content with Xavi Simons. All right, I'm cool with that one. I think Garnacho is just trying to kind of come in and make a little bit of noise. That one might realistically not cross the finish line. I hope it doesn't, but if it does, let's see what he's got. clearly he's talented. Clearly we can see that Man U has been just god awful for the last few years.
We're gonna go to them next. Transfer news.
So, like, who knows if he was the problem? Who knows if... I mean, Rashford's already back up and crushing on every other team that he's been on. Aston Villa, he did really well. Barcelona, he scored today and they're friendly. You know, who knows? Is it the Man U effect? Maybe this guy comes out and he's a stud. I mean, I don't want to pay an outrageous amount of money, like a huge number for him, because I don't think he's shown the worth and value. But if we do, we do. And it is what it is. We also just sold a bunch of people, so it's not like we're just inflating this number.
Yeah.
We're doing business both ways.
Speaking of United, how is it possible that there is a striker that is like probably one or two of the hottest commodities going this summer, Sesko, and he's going to choose between United and Newcastle? Like, and he might choose Newcastle over Manchester United.
I mean,
well,
how crazy is that?
United finished 15th. Newcastle is in Champions League. I mean, you're going directly to Champions League. You have Jurgen Klopp tampering in the background as still an agent of Liverpool, convincing him to go to Newcastle so that Liverpool can get Isak. I mean, it's all written there in front of us. I'm not shocked at all. And like Isak went there for I think 60, and now he's going to go for 120 plus. You know, maybe Newcastle comes off their number if they do get their replacement, but it's all written there in front of us, right? Isak doubled in value, scored a ton of goals. Sesko is, similar build, similar play. I mean, he's probably looking at it and saying, well, if I can step in with pretty much the same attack and the same delivery that Isak was going to get, I'm probably going to go up in value too. And he's going to go for 80. I mean, he'll be able to go to any team he wants if it goes the same way that it went for Isak, because Isak's deciding he wants to go to Liverpool, and it looks like he's probably going to end up going there if the Sesko deal goes through. So, it's that or United, where players have gone for some time, it hasn't gone well. There was a fallout. They end up at, Real Betis or Aston Villa on loan, or they're sitting there making like almost Nike commercials of themselves sweating in a gym to try to force their way out, like Garnacho did. Yeah. I mean, it's like right now it's an easy choice. It may change for United, but right now I think that's an easy choice.
That's what I was going to say. Is like this year, the easy choice is Newcastle is the better team, but it's also it's Manchester United. It's not Newcastle over a team that's just been playing well. You know what I mean? It's like it's Manchester fucking United.
But that's the only card that they get to hold now.
I know. Do you think
we
that's
were
over?
Great and glorious 15, 20 years ago.
Is that going away finally?
Okay.
Because for years, still top people would go there, even though it was like, why would you go there? I
just think the club is poorly run, and like, even just being a fan, like you can tell.
Yeah, I mean it's also a rebuild, right? Like Ronaldo went back there and said the facilities are dog shit, right?
For 15 years, a rebuild. They haven't found the right manager, and they're on their 12th or 13th manager.
Yeah, but I also don't know if it's fair to say that like a club that was finishing in the top 4 and then finished like lower than the top 4 recently and then went down to 15th, like that's a rebuild, is it not? I mean, if you're finishing in the top 4, yeah, you were rebuilding to get first place. They've been trying to find. Are you not telling us the story of Arsenal right now?
No, of course not.
How long have you guys been rebuilding for?
5 years. I'm gonna go for 5.
15 years. You guys have been rebuilding for 20 years.
No, we haven't. Manchester United have not had an identity since Fergie left. And
when was the last time they won the Prem?
United won it more recently than Arsenal.
Okay, that's not the argument. My point is that
So you've been
Man U have
rebuilding
been
longer.
No, we haven't. We've been rebuilding since like 2018.
What?
We had
Yeah,
one.
second
I
year,
think
remember they won the league in
2 or
17,
3.
and they won the
we had-
Champions League in 16.
Well, we should have won the year that Leicester was in it. The year that Leicester won should have been Arsenal's.
Coulda, woulda, coulda. All right.
But Giroud didn't score a goal past like January. I think he literally didn't score after January for the entire.
Like, I'm
rest of the
sorry
season.
that we didn't do something to get 115 charges to make the rebuild go faster. I'm sorry we didn't get a transfer ban for something that we fucking did that was illegal. Like, sorry we're not on that level. Sorry.
Oh, well, we'll
maybe
see
you
what
guys
happens with these
maybe-
new associated party transaction rules. We'll see what goes on with that. You guys your owner's been loaning your owners have been loaning your team money for a while. We'll see how long those are allowed to happen.
And yours
just
has
sell
been
the women's
digging it
team.
out of the ground in the Middle East. You're welcome.
We'll just sell the
You know
women's
what?
team.
That would be
Fine.
genius for Arsenal. Sell the women's team. They just won the Champions League. They're worth more than they're ever going to be worth.
Yeah, we could sell them to ourselves for $1 trillion. We'll just make up money.
Go ahead.
It's almost like you guys should have just had some balls back in the day.
Marbles.
Some marbles. You guys have one of the
We
wealthiest.
should have
guys
been illegal. God damn, we weren't illegal. Ugh.
Okay, to be fair, I feel like Chelsea just spent more money than they should have one year, and they got a transfer ban. Oh, and we got charged for it. Like what do you mean? Like Chelsea spent more money one time, and then that's what happened. No. Chelsea spent more money once, and then we got a transfer ban. Arsenal spends fuck all, and you guys have no results for it. We got sanctioned. We got a transfer ban, fully sanctioned, rebuild our club, had to go through all of this, and we're now level with you guys again.
One
You
quick
guys
question.
did your time.
Sorry.
You suffered your punishment.
I'm sorry we didn't.
We got sanctioned. We
Move
weren't
to
even
the
allowed to be in
illegal level.
FIFA for a little bit. Our badge wasn't in FIFA. We weren't allowed to do anything. We had to start from the ground up. So for anyone to be like, "Oh, Chelsea, blah, blah, blah," constantly, but we literally got sanctioned. We weren't the stores were closed. You couldn't access the club website. We were sanctioned because our owner had some ties with people he probably shouldn't have, and we faced our punishment and we completely rebuilded, and now we're here. And you guys, in that meantime, have done nothing.
No, we've done the same thing. We've been rebuilding too. But I have a quick question for you. Number one, why is the Club World Cup badge right in the center of the chest,
Shut up.
a size and a half too big?
I think
Can we move that to the sleeve? It's got to go on the sleeve.
I think
It's
they'll
just like,
I think they'll
it's
readjust
gotta-
it.
and then also, why
Ego
do you
for a fake tournament.
why do you
It's embarrassing.
still not have a kit sponsor?
I think we're gonna make it a big thing. I think it's gonna be a big announcement, kind of leading up to it, or maybe
Because
Honestly,
is it because you signed a deal with whatever the number 3 company was? You couldn't have one for X amount of years because you were still under.
No.
I don't know why, because they still haven't had one since then, right?
no, because last year we didn't have a sponsor. I don't
What's
think.
up with that?
We had
Yeah.
one last year.
How do you not even have a sponsor on your shirt?
We had a sponsor last year. I'm pretty sure. We just don't have a sponsor right now.
Yeah, interesting. I just
Why
know when they were like,
Why
oh,
doesn't
I was-
anyone want to sponsor you?
No, I think there's probably a lot of people that want to sponsor us. It's just we have to sift through all of the contracts that
We
were
try to-
offered by us, and we're like,
I haven't seen anyone
which,
step up.
why would they announce it before? That would be stupid.
I don't know. It's pretty crazy that they would have.
Why would you make why would you ruin a big reveal
sponsor?
before the reveal?
I don't know. It's kind of a weird.
I think
thing, not
Nikos makes a good point on that.
That's
Yeah.
just business. Why would you be like, hey guys, we might be by Netflix, but let's tell everybody. No, a
Here,
sponsorship deal is supposed to be a big thing.
I'll give you a real life. I'll give you a real life comparison right now. Would you have been more excited about signing Gyökeres if you didn't know that it dragged on for a month and a half before he signed, or were you more excited after the whole process dragging out and then all of a sudden it happened and everyone just kind of said, it's done? It would have been
I
more.
don't really care.
The first would have been more exciting. You can't deny it. Yeah, you don't really care. Of course you don't. Stone Cold Wes. You don't care.
I would have cared. I would have been more excited.
I would have cared.
I would have been
Also,
if that first Sunday when Fabrizio came out and said Arsenal have, we basically said, hey, we're going to go for Gyökeres. They're advancing on the deal. If I woke up and the first tweet was bang, here we go, Gyökeres, and it was like, oh my God, overnight they finished the deal. Oh, I would have been so excited.
can I ask one more question? How come that number 3 sponsor for Chelsea only wanted to sponsor them for 3 years? How come they just got up and left?
I don't know. I don't work for them. How the hell am I supposed to know? You think I'm in the
I don't know.
boardroom wondering how the contract works?
sponsors. You have sponsors leaving the club. You can't get a sponsor.
I'm pretty sure the 3 was
just
like a good
weird.
charitable. Okay, I think it was
I
a
don't even know
charitable.
what the 3 was.
I think it was a charitable organization. I think. So maybe we just did some good deeds for the last 3 years, and now you're just shitting on it. And I think that's wrong because we were just trying to spread some good and awareness for before I want to search up what this
Whatever
is.
floats your boat.
3 Chelsea sponsor.
What do they do?
No. It's really hard to find a business by the name 3.
Why did the most iconic sponsor in Arsenal's history, O2, stop sponsoring them?
Oh,
I don't know.
Come on, the O2 kit is the most iconic kit. It's the Henri
here,
kit.
let's all go back to when we were 5 to 8 years old and ask ourselves why that was the case. They probably
Arms you opened.
I actually sent this tweet to the Arsenal group, which is the 4 best Arsenal kits. It's the maroon O2, the blue O2, the black and the gold from a few years ago.
the black,
and then the one we just did, the white one.
Mine's already
now
on
listen.
white.
What name did you get? Did you get a name?
Yeah,
I might have been speaking out of my ass 5 minutes ago.
Who'd you get? Who'd you get?
Saka.
Okay, I'm doing him. I'm doing Gyökeres. I'm gonna do it.
3 UK is a telemarketing company, not a charitable.
Just like charity.
Wow.
Um,
And then there goes the Chelsea fan trying to rub it under the carpet and brings charity work into it.
they were found on March 3rd, 2003. So do you think that makes sense? 3, 3.
Okay. What did they have last year?
I don't even remember.
Isn't that weird? Like, we've had the Emirates now for a long time.
Yeah, but
It's
also
such
like
a
I'm
good-
sure we're waiting for like a good deal, that like a long-term deal rather than like
like an
let's do
Emirates
something
one,
for,
like
a
hey, we'll
year.
let you name the stadium. You're gonna be here for a long time, type deal.
Yeah, I hope we never get rid of Fly Emirates.
Yeah,
You guys will. But
I think
It'll happen eventually.
In the future, but
They have us, PSG. They have Real Madrid now.
they have a lot.
Oh, it was Infinite Athlete. That's what it was.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, we
You're right.
definitely had a
But
sponsor.
I don't think that was. I don't remember seeing that in the Premier League.
It was. Yeah, it definitely was.
Wow.
We had
Weird.
something for the year, and I remember because it was like, oh, what are we just gonna go like no? Because the year before we had no sponsor.
Yeah,
I'm
because
pretty sure.
3 and you guys whatever broke up.
And then we did this maybe a 1-year Infinite Athlete deal, and then now we're back to nothing. I don't know.
We got to find
I
out
don't
soon. The league is in 2 weeks.
But also, like, we're probably gonna do the same thing where it's like we're gonna start with no logo. I'm like, oh come on, or no
Yeah.
sponsor. You're like, all right,
Just weird.
There we go.
Let's move on. I think there's not any other news, right? Not that the Isak thing is kind
Every
of
single day I see a post from someone about Manchester City. They post a picture of Pep Guardiola and it says Manchester City transfer news. Nothing is going on.
I think City are done.
They may be. I mean, after the Trafford signing, I think they decided that Mateus Nunes is the everyday right back, so they're not going to sign a right back. And
Pep usually comes out and says
later,
it too. Like the first press conference, he might get asked, and he may say, "Hey, we're done, except for maybe some loans." And usually, when he says that, it's pretty true. So
yeah,
There is one big thing that we haven't transfer news that we haven't talked about.
well,
That's
And
right.
this one's a bit sad. honestly.
It is.
Shout out to my brother.
Fuck him.
I think this man means a lot to a lot of people, and he's one of those players that has no haters, honestly. Heung-min Son, fuck off. Why? Tell us
How
why.
can you guys hate him?
Hold on. Only for
Fuck him.
one single reason do I hate him. One single shot.
He didn't score against City.
Bingo.
Oh,
And he didn't on purpose.
literally the nicest, most humble person in the world. That's like hating N'Golo Kante, the guy that smiles and rides bikes.
I'm pretty
and
sure
goes
he
to people's
broke
weddings.
someone's leg.
He
a few
has the
years
first
ago.
iPhone.
Did he do it intentionally? Did he go there and be like, "Let me stomp on your leg"?
I did.
He
I
broke
cried
his
about it.
leg and
Cried about it.
He literally saw the guy's leg, cried, and then was so distraught about breaking somebody's leg. Now that's a normal reaction. That's a human reaction. Guess what? Nico Jackson would have broke the leg, looked at it, stepped on it again. I hate you, Nico Jackson.
I did see a
He
tweet
played
that
for
said
the worst team possible.
he did. I
And
don't
he
hate him
brought
for
them
that.
European gold, something that you guys can't say right now.
They played a
not-
lower league team.
But okay. I did see a tweet that listed all of the times that Son cried on the field, and it was an awesome thread, by the way. Like, it was all of the... If there was, like, an injury to, like, the attacking player, like, Son obviously wasn't even near them, cried, bawling his eyes out. It was a very interesting thread. There was
Passionate,
a lot. Very,
emotional.
yeah.
Just I'd love to see it.
Yeah, no, good dude. I don't hate him other than he should have scored against City. That would
I
have
And
like
you
been
guys shouldn't have parked the bus on Easter. So
yeah.
that could have
It's all right.
solved your problem.
It's all right.
Well,
Like
Jesus
16
rose from the dead.
Yeah.
Yes, just like Manchester City did in that title race.
Yeah.
Oil.
It
Anyways,
happened on Easter.
Anyways, on to that. So like we said in the last episode, Dylan put out a text to the group that said that Luis Diaz was a top 5 winger, left winger in the world. Active right now, obviously. And there started a little bit of a debate, and then he said, wait, stop. We're not going to talk about that in here. He wanted us to talk about it on the podcast.
He should have came on.
He should have. He should have came on. I would have. Did he send his list of his top 5?
He was probably drunk when he even texted that to us.
Probably. Probably. Does anybody have Luis Diaz in their top 5?
No.
nope.
JP?
I do.
Okay.
Ooh. Okay.
JP,
I
you
do.
want to go? You want to go first?
I will.
Top 5 left winger?
Yeah.
Left winger, yes. So I'll start with number 5, which is where I have Luis Diaz.
Okay.
And like, if you just sit there and look at a spreadsheet and look at stats, you would say, oh, he's comparable to this guy, he's comparable to that guy. When you actually watch him play, he's incredible at taking players on. He's dynamic in attack. He's fast. He's got good control of the ball. And he has the balls to shoot. And he has the intelligence to pass the ball. I think Luis Diaz is number 5. I initially wasn't quite sure if he was in there. But after really looking at players who primarily play on the left wing, I'm not talking about, Mbappe, who plays on the wing for France. He plays down the middle for Madrid. That's where he plays most of his games. So, yeah, I have Luis Diaz there. My number 4 is Rafael Leao. I think Rafael Leao is incredible. He's got the length. He outpaces players. He's very creative on the ball. I don't think he's quite as good as a distributor, but in terms of being direct, I think he's got to be your number 4 because I think the top 3 are pretty easy. Vinny Jr. is my number 3. If you asked me a year or 2 ago, I would have probably had him higher, but I think based on last season, Rafinha eclipsed him as number 2. I think Rafinha is probably halfway through last season. Rafinha was my Ballon d'Or winner. I think Dembele is probably the guy now after leading PSG to the Champions League, but Dembele's also moved to the middle, right? Dembele is now, your attacking guy who can really just go anywhere. He has the freedom to move, and he has the freedom to move around and interact with my number one left winger in the world, which is none other than Kvaradona. Kvicha Kvaratskhelia is my number one. If you watch this guy play, he can do anything. He's hands down my number one. When he made that move to PSG, I said PSG underpaid for him. Like he won Serie A and the Ligue 1 in the same year. He carried Napoli and he carried PSG. Like he's got room to grow too. So Kvaradona's my number one, but yeah, Luis Diaz solidly in my top 5.
I'm so mad because that is my exact list in order.
Is it really?
That is my exact list in order.
That's why I'm over there chuckling.
Okay, because I you said it, and I looked at my list. I was like, oh, okay, that's where I had him. Leo, yeah, Leo 4. Oh yeah, and then Vinny. Oh, and then Rafinha. Oh yeah, and then yeah. Yeah, I agree with every single thing you said. The person that I was trying to battle with Diaz was Anthony Gordon, because I think that Anthony Gordon has just been so. Last year, the year before, I think that he's on such a high trajectory. I think that if he makes a big move, I don't know if he's going to stay. It sounds like he's trying to leave Newcastle, but I think if he makes a big move, he could potentially get on this list. I think he ended up, below him, but I was like, I was trying to think of other names that were like not really thought about that could make it on there.
Yep.
But yeah, I have the exact same list. I agree with every single thing you said. I also think Kvaratskhelia is the best defensive winger in the world, left and right. When he comes back, you know what I mean? Like when we were playing PSG,
you're right.
He was coming back.
On that. You're right.
He was coming back and he was taking the ball away from our wingers, and I was like, dude, and then he'd run up the field and do something. It was like, okay, no, this dude is out of his mind.
He's fast.
And when he moved to PSG, every Arsenal fan on Twitter was so mad because they were like, why didn't we do that deal? Why didn't we do that deal? That would have fixed the left side. You would have had a Saka-like player because he plays very similar to how Saka plays in a sense of really like attacking the winger, tracking back on defense. I think that he's just doing amazing right now. But can't believe that we have the same list. I'm actually I can't believe it.
Who wants to go next?
Why don't you go next?
Yeah, because Nicholas has all 5 of Chelsea's left wingers on his list.
So I have the same list, except that Diaz is 6 for me. And I think you're going to be surprised who I have as my left wing in the 5th spot. But what it came down to is like, if I was basically starting a team today, I would choose this guy over Luis Diaz. It's close, but I don't even disagree with what JP said, how he is an all-around good attacking player. He's pretty confident in any skill set. But my number 5 is actually Ademola Lookman from Atalanta.
Okay.
A crazy shout.
Okay.
A respectable.
Wes, I don't think you're far off on having him 5.
Yeah, he's amazing, and he's got the potential for sure.
I'm not going to go through all of his stats right now, just so we can get into a next segment. But the only thing I will say is that he is still young. He is so crazy to watch on the ball. And if you look at his stats, they go up and up just about every single year. So that's number 5. If he was like a year older than Diaz, maybe I think about putting Diaz 5, but Diaz is just out of my top 5. And yes, I would have had Kylian Mbappe in there as well, but sure, we'll now put him as a striker. So that's how I have my top 5.
Yeah, I think if Mbappe, if like, Vinny leaves and Mbappe slides over to the left, I think that he's definitely, that would push Diaz out only, you know what I mean? Because Mbappe has to go in there. But yeah, I agree.
A lot of similar names on mine. I'd say 5 is Vinny for me. I would put Rafinha at 4. Nico Williams at 3.
Oh,
I would put Leao at 2, and then Kvaratskhelia as number 1.
Actually, I forgot about Nico Williams.
I feel like watching Nico Williams play in the Euros not too long ago, he was disgusting. He was unbelievable. There's no wonder why he's a hot ticket item, and Barcelona really screwed the pooch there by not getting him. But like, he is that good. And I think the thing is that it's just like a lot of players we don't honestly get to see. Like Lookman, how many times can I realistically say, like, I've watched him play, so I can't get a good judgment of like him being a top 5 because I just haven't seen him play all that much. But seeing Nico play those few like short months of the Euros and like kind of seeing him occasionally, like today, I think was he playing today in the friendlies? But he's disgusting. He's unbelievably fast. He's super young. He complements any kind of striker that he plays with. And I feel like, especially for Spain, he's nasty. So I put him up there.
He's basically a taller Diaz.
Yeah, and I have Diaz at like 6. If we're counting Mbappe as a winger, Diaz at 7.
Yeah, everybody moves.
I forgot about Williams. I'd probably put him above Luis.
I would have had Nico Williams in this list this time last year, but because we were linked to him all of the summer last year, it was Arsenal and Barcelona. Nico Williams was going to choose. I watched almost every single Bilbao game that they played in the Europa League, not the, his normal campaign. So all the Europa League games they were in, I watched. And that's the only reason I would put him below Diaz, because Diaz, I think, also is very good for his national team. But for Nico Williams is very much that winger where he has a great stretch, and then he has that stretch where you're watching him and you're like, okay, where did your touch go? Touch is gone. But now all of a sudden you can't hold on to the ball, and now you're losing it. And then all of a sudden 4 games later, now it comes back. So I was like, he probably needs a few more years.
I think it's hard to compare someone like Nico to everyone else on this list because look at the team he's on.
Exactly.
He can do as much as he wants, but he doesn't really have many people around him to complement what he's doing. That's why he shines so much at the Euros, because now he's got players around him that could receive the ball from his passes, that he can now not have to do everything that, he doesn't have to do everything. Every other player on this list, and if we're talking about Rafinha specifically, we saw him at Leeds, and you're like, yeah, okay. Yeah, he's all right. I'm not going to put him in a top 5. He goes to a different team. You're like, this guy is now unbelievable. So I think any of these players, all on top teams, like, it's almost comical if you said Rafinha was going to be on your top list 3 years ago.
Mm-hmm. When he was at Leeds, absolutely.
Yeah,
and now you put him all of a sudden, team and he's a stud.
Yeah, and it's not even like, putting him on a good team and he's a stud. He's the sole match winner.
Yeah,
multiple times for Barcelona.
Yeah,
like he carried them to 3 points over and over again. And I feel like we should shout out some of the names that we got in the TikTok comments too for some of the top left wingers, some of the guys that we didn't mention. We did end up mentioning Nico Williams, but Denzel Doué after this past season at PSG.
Yep, he could be on there. I think next year he's got a chance to.
Exactly.
If he does that again, absolutely.
Yeah. Yep. Some of the names I saw were like Bradley Barcola too. I know he kind of transitioned to the right, and Doué, kind of took over the left, but another young talent. And then a funny one that we have, a 16-year-old Rio Ngumoa. It's a name to watch out for. A random one that makes Wes just shake his head, but a Liverpool product who, maybe one day is in the top 5, but we gotta probably see him get some minutes in the first team in the Premier League before we start making these these claims as a top 5 left winger in the world.
I have a question for Nikos and JP. When Wes was going through his list, a scale of 1 to 10, how confident did you think Gabriel Martinelli was coming out of his mouth?
When he was slowly going to announce his fifth, he was getting into it real. Well, I think this is a name. I'm like, just shut up. Just don't even say it. I really thought he's gonna throw it.
At first, I was like, "Ooh, I wonder who he's going for." And I was like, "Oh no, don't say Martinelli. Don't say don't." I can't help him. I'm sitting there like, how am I gonna defend this? I'm gonna have to help him out. How am I gonna do this?
It's funny because I was not expecting him to say Martinelli because of all the times that Wes has said that they need to get someone to replace him.
Yeah, that's why I was like, please, no.
But the way he was laughing and smiling, and the way he introduced it as someone who I would want to build my team around, I was thinking like, ooh, who's a young player who needs some development and probably could get into the top 5, but like the thing he's missing is the finishing product. And I was like, there's no fucking way he's gonna say Doku. Because Doku
hold on, wait, hold on.
One dribbler in the world. He doesn't have a finishing product.
If you guys look closely enough, you can actually see the poop of Doku on JP's nose. It's incredible.
Oh, sorry. Is it still there? Let me.
Oh man, that was funny. Oh, that was good. Good job, Dylan, on that one.
Yeah, great question.
I had the last topic for the episode is for the top 4 challengers for the title this year: Arsenal, City, Liverpool, and Chelsea. What do you guys think are each of them their biggest weakness going into the season? Like for me, I will say Arsenal's is the attack. Will the attack
we do
gel?
Team by team?
Yeah.
Or do you want to do person by person here?
We can do team by team. Like for me, Arsenal, because there's 2 of us, we'll do that one first. I think it's their attack. I think their defense has been the best in the league for the last 3 seasons. I think that it comes down to their attack. Can Saka stay healthy? Can Odegaard stay healthy and perform way better than he did last year? Can we get 2 years ago Odegaard? Can Gyökeres or Havertz decide, to be a good striker? Martinelli, Trossard, potentially another left winger if we bring someone in. It is all about, the front 4. I think the back half of the team, I think we're solid. We have depth there. I'm not worried. I'm not worried about an injury to a defensive player because we have depth. It's the attack. I'm only afraid of that. That's why we don't win.
I have a different answer for Arsenal.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I took weakness as much more broad than potentially just like attacking, and maybe you have that for other teams. But to me, it's injuries, and I know that could be a weakness for any team, but just because of the injuries we had last year, I think it's that. And I'm not going to make this like an Arsenal yay spiel, but I've seen everything else that we need. We've competed points-wise. We've beaten City now in a couple of seasons. We've beaten Liverpool in a couple of seasons. Like, we're right there. I don't think there's anything that's really missing other than like maybe a great transfer window like we have. So personally, I think our weakness is injuries. I think our team is going to be set. Every team that's even near perfect has like a game slip here and there, but I think it's just injuries.
Yeah, thin squad would have been my number 2 weakness to go along with injuries. That if we have an injury, we don't have, prior to this transfer window, we didn't have somebody if certain players went down. We had nobody behind them. You were shoehorning a player that could play there, but they haven't played there since they were a kid type, What about you guys? The blue side of the room.
Well, I'll say, I've said it before, discipline and maturity, I think it's your biggest weakness. I've said it. I've said it for the last 2 years now. Discipline is the most important thing. It's not it's not you guys against the world. It's not the refs against Arsenal. It's not everybody against Arsenal. It is sometimes discipline and yourselves against yourselves. Be disciplined as a team. That starts from the top down. That comes from the coach. comes from the, it's just the way that they present themselves. It's the way that if you guys need to not do something stupid like kick the ball away to save a lead, that's the stuff that you guys have to learn to do in testy moments. I feel like every single team is going to go through somebody trying to get a rise out of your players, and you guys can't let them do it. Every team falls for it, but when you guys are big time players, big time team, you guys need to keep your composure. Don't let it slip up, because I think that cost you guys multiple games last year. So
Definitely
just maturity
100%.
and discipline.
Yeah, I think the only other thing I'd say about weaknesses is Arsenal, they draw a lot of matches, especially against like mid-table teams. And I think that's really where they've suffered the most in title races. They need to figure out how to win the matches that they're supposed to win. And you're gonna lose to, you're gonna go to Wolverhampton and lose every now and
randomly.
then.
Yeah.
Or you're gonna go to,
City.
like something like that's gonna happen. But like you can't make a habit out of drawing those matches. You need to go and win those matches that you're up against a mid-table club in a hostile environment. That's the discipline has hurt them, the injuries have hurt them, but at the end of the day, you need to win. So I think that's the weakness that they need to overcome.
I agree. Who do we want to do next?
Want to just jump into Liverpool. That's what I wanted to do, and I think I don't know if Liverpool necessarily has a weakness like this season. I think they're really good. I mean, look, like they've done the things that they need to do to continue moving forward. For example, Luis Diaz leaves. Well, they already signed their replacement a year ago in Gakpo. And Gakpo, I think, is going to emerge as one of the top wingers in the league. Trent goes, well, they bring in Frimpong. Andy Robertson was linked with a move out. They bring in Kirkez, and he's going to be Robertson's replacement when he does eventually go. He's getting old. They still need to, find a replacement for Van Dijk eventually. They need to replace or re-sign Konate. But they've built their midfield really well too. Gravenberch may be on the way out, but he's a guy who came in and was solid. McAllister was solid. Darwizzi is always going to kind of be a meme because he misses a lot of chances, but I think Liverpool have done a lot to at least stay where they are, especially if they bring in Isak. I don't see a ton of weaknesses in Liverpool. I know Wes was shaking his head, so Wes made a crazy face like I was smoking crack when I said that. Like, Wes, what do you think?
My answer is going to surprise you, and it may not make sense at first, but I will explain. Their biggest weakness is Mohamed Salah. They are more of a one-person club than probably the top other clubs, if you really think about it. If Salah only produces half of the goals that he puts out normally or has been putting out at 30-ish a year in the league, or closer to 25, you are not winning the league. You are not winning the Champions League. You are not winning trophies. If you go back and watch his goals, very often they are the difference makers in the game. So to me, if he gets hurt, if he has an off season, the club is not winning anything. And that is a weakness to me.
But isn't that why he's there? I mean, you could literally say that for any big team. You could be like, okay,
No.
if
Take
Saka
out you.
and for
Nope.
Arsenal, you guys would be screwed or whatever.
Nope. We didn't have Saka for 4 months last year, and we still came in second place and got to the semifinals of Champions League. Granted, Saka was back for the last round of the Champions League, but that's my point. Is if you take out Salah, that team is winning nothing. We can talk about Arsenal, even though I'm not trying to, but you take out any one player, our team doesn't really go down, to be honest, and we've proven that on a defensive, midfield, and attacking level. So,
Haven't you guys
haven't
just said like that injuries were your biggest issue?
Yes, because we had our number one defender, our number one midfielder, and our number one attacker all out last year for a length of time.
So did Man City. Like Man City had their Ballon d'Or winner injured the whole year.
So once again, Salah is the biggest weakness for the fact that he is the reason that they will win something if he does not produce at the elite level that he does. And at some point, he's just not going to. That's going to be the Achilles heel, is the fact that they're not getting the output from him.
Actually, this might transition into my reason for Liverpool. I was going to say that with Liverpool, they had an unreal transfer market that this is going to be a hit or miss for them. This pays off and now they're a super team, or now they have too many star players on one team where they're just not going to click. We've already seen a few games with Florian Wirtz and he hasn't really looked crazy good. You know, Ekitike, I've already seen him miss a few chances. Van Dijk's getting up there in age, you know. But let's say Salah gets hurt. Now you have one less star in there, and now you have somebody else that can step up and be that big-time player that they're supposed to be. Maybe that's where Florian Wirtz comes in, and he's like, okay, well, now I'm the big-time player. I think this is either going to be amazing for them, and they are going to be a super team and maybe not lose a game, or they're going to clash. And we've seen it with a lot of teams. Chelsea's done it before, where they sign a lot of stars at once, and then you're like, why aren't you performing? We signed a whole bunch of stars at one time. This is what's happening with Liverpool is they're signing a whole bunch of people at one time and not slowly integrating. They're all in the starting. You're going to see Florian Wirtz starting. You're going to see Ekitike starting. You're going to see Isaac starting if he goes there. You're going to see, do they have a new left wing? No, sorry.
No, they sold Diaz. Gakpo's filling in there, right?
So,
you don't think Ekitike starts on the left wing?
Well, it depends if Isaac goes there or not. If Ekitike is the only striker, he's going to be striker. But also, we have who I completely forgot about, their new right back, you know? So they also have him. So you're starting a whole bunch of new people at once. Your team looks wildly different than last year. So you have to hope and be like, they all clicked. They all work together. They're not going to clash heads. Even yesterday, watching the summer series with Man U, I watched Mbembo, or whatever, however you say his name. He was trying to take a shot, and he missed 2 shots in a row, and Cunha was throwing his hands in the air, frustrated. That's not what you want to see on your first game playing together. Is Mbembo taking a shot, and then Cunha in the back, like raising his arms, like, "Why didn't you pass it to me?" Which I've seen Cunha do multiple times since joining Man U. It's like, chill. You're supposed to kind of like, this is friendlies, you know. Don't put yourself out there to be a complaining player. But like that's where it could, so it's either a huge gamble or it works or it doesn't. But a lot of new players at once is super to deal with. And now your veteran players are getting a little bit older. Salah's getting a little bit older.
Mm-hmm.
Virgil, of course, is still really good, but has he been the Virgil that he's been in the last few years? Like, can he keep up for the whole season? Is he going to stay the same, solid center back that he's always been? They have a new goalkeeper as well. Is Alisson going to be in the whole year? So, like, there's just so many new different things. Who's their other center back, Are they on that rotation of Konate and Gomez? Is Konate going to play? Like, is he going to be hurt? So they just have, like, a lot of question marks.
Mine for them is that their biggest weakness will be pressure because the pressure is on Liverpool this year. They had 0 pressure last year. Manager, first season in, no pressure. Hey, just get top 4. That's all we're looking for here. Really no title contender. Arsenal were injured. City were injured. There was no title contender. They weren't really in a title race. Liverpool never went, oh shit, Arsenal won on Saturday. We got to win on Sunday. Oh, City won on Saturday. We got to win on Sunday. Oh, we play Monday. We got to win because Arsenal and City won. They had 0 pressure. 0. Even at the end of the year, you saw them lose a bunch because they were like, there was just nothing. There's no pressure. And like you said, because there's all these newer guys, because it's also a lot of really old guys who are they going to gas out at the end of the season now because they're in their upper 30s? Are they going to be able to do another whole season? Salah also, I think, is AFCON this year, I believe, so he's out in January. So Are they going to be able to having a super new guys, still a new manager, you know what I mean? And super old guys, are they going to be able to handle that pressure this year? Because the pressure's on them. They are the title favorites. They are the champions. Yep. They should repeat. They spent the most money. They've got amazing talent at every level. You know what I mean? They have Golden Boot winners. They have the best defensive. They have the best center back. They have the best goalkeeper. They have the best right winger. They have so many bests in all the positions. Pressure's on. It's not on Arsenal this year to win it. It isn't on City to win it. Pressure is on Liverpool, and they haven't had that. So let's see if they can handle it.
Yeah.
Who's up next? Which of the Blues?
Let's go to the London Blues.
Chelsea.
I'd say one thing that's holding us back is experienced defense. Is we don't have veterans in the center back position. I think our wing backs have proven for themselves. I think Cucurella is awesome, and I think he's about to get paid soon because he's been. I know he was kind of like a meme / troll, but like he is a lockdown defender. Like he's offensively like a threat too. I think our right back is fine. We have Malo Gusto and then Reece James if he's healthy. So that's kind of like a question mark. But our center backs have always been young for the last few years, and I think we just need a solid center back to kind of teach and keep the calm. I think sometimes we just need to keep the calm when we are, like I think JP just said earlier, Arsenal needs to play against mid-table teams and not drop the ball there. We need to learn to keep calm when we're playing those teams that we need to beat. So I think it's a mix of keeping calm, composure, and then experienced center backs. And then I think we have an unbelievable center mid. Like our midfielders are crazy. We have good wingers. We picked up João Pedro. Let's see how he does. We're picking up a lot of people, but I just think center backs, we need more experienced center backs.
I'm right there with you. Like it's the experience in the back line. I think it was really beneficial for Chelsea to go through the Club World Cup because while Wes says it's, meaningless and stuff like that, you're playing against clubs and players with experienced players. And, maybe as a player, there is less pressure in that tournament, but it's still a tournament that you raise a trophy at the end of, just like the Conference League. So I think that helped them a lot. I think it's like a stepping stone trophy to prepare yourself for winning a big one. And by a big one, I mean the Premier League or the Champions League. So, it's the experience at the back because in those tournaments, the pressure's just so much higher. The consequences for making a mistake are so much bigger. I think if you bring in a veteran at the back, I think that helps you guys out a lot.
Yeah, I totally agree. I wrote down defense and youth, that the entire team is so young that it is, you know what I mean? Same thing with Liverpool in a sense of if you guys aren't in the title race after the new year, it's like, what happens? What happens to that young team knowing they have to win out basically because you're being chased by most likely 3 other teams? You have to win. And what does that pressure do? Because I've seen what that does to a young Arsenal team. And it's like they do it, and then all of a sudden you're like, wow, you're watching them and you could feel it. And you're not there and you're not playing. And you could feel it. It's like, oh my God, City won again. You have to win now. You can't lose to Wolves. And Wolves score the first goal. And you're like, to deal with that, it's, you know what I mean? So, yeah, totally agree.
I'm so excited for this one.
One word. Chemistry.
No kit sponsor.
Chemistry. That is their weakness. You have signed 49 professional first team footballers in the past 4 years. They do not know how to play with each other. It takes a long time. Chemistry is their biggest weakness.
Okay. I mean, I think we showed it like a month ago at the Club World Cup, the chemistry, but respect the answer.
It was a 1-game tournament. Look at who you played. Anyways, moving on to City.
Moving
See,
on
I
to
noticed.
the
Now, hold
Centurions,
on. Now, hold on.
Formidables, the
Now,
quadruple
I'll
winners,
go.
the treble
I'll go
winners.
first.
hold
I'll
on.
go
Let's
first with
pause.
City.
No.
Why?
Let's pause because you know what? You know what I've noticed is that we all gave respectable answers. None of our answers had digs. Not one. All of ours were like, you know what? I think Arsenal needs this. I think City needs that. I think Liverpool. And then you have to come in with the they signed 40 players in 4 years. You know, you did the little digs.
I
brought up the
explained
tweet.
why it was chemistry.
For 4 years?
Don't get butthurt about chemistry, my friend.
4 years. I think we've proven ourselves in the last 2 years that we're building from our rebuild.
Let me know when you can beat us because you haven't done that in 3 years in the league.
Okay.
Moving on, Manchester City.
Sorry, give them the John Cena appropriate, the heel John Cena appropriate introduction. The Centurions, the Formidables, the domestic quadruple winners. Manchester
and the ones
City.
that I flew all the way to London to watch them get whooped 1-5 in London. You're welcome.
At the worst during the worst period in club history in the last decade.
18 months after we signed the best striker in the world.
What's this always hostile?
I love him. I love him so
I
much.
just absolutely hate both of your clubs with a passion. And if I died a year earlier, knowing that it meant your club's never winning league or trophies again, I would gladly die a year earlier. All right,
Mr.
so
President, we got to
my weakness for Manchester City is kind of two parts, but it's quick. Number one is complacency. And the other, well, I'll get to the other one, which is kind of the ending of it. But complacency, they've won a few things because of oil money, and they don't really have any motivation to get after it like a club that hasn't gotten to it recently. Our club is right there. But it's complacency. We kind of saw it last year. Everyone's like, are they going to do it for a fourth or fifth year? Are they going to do Champions League? And they kind of sucked for what they had. They performed well below average for what their sheet shows in terms of what's in the lineup. And then the second part of this is, what is their new biggest weakness? It's a beautiful club from North London called the Arsenal.
You thought he cooked with that one.
Okay, let's
that's
hear what
good.
you guys have.
Great weakness. Go ahead, Kyle. You want to jump on top of the Arsenal bandwagon here?
Mike's a little bit different. My biggest weakness for City this year, I think, is their midfield. They obviously have a whole new midfield, and what does that look like? How does that look like going forward? Who gets the rotation? Who gets the start? Do people get mad when Foden's starting? And then, you know what I mean? What's going to be the rotation? How's that going to look? And how does that gel? Obviously, I think, Rodri will be there in the back, but the people in front of him, what does that look like? You guys obviously were a little aged there last year, and you fixed that, but is it going to work? We don't know yet. They haven't played, yet, so we just don't know. But other than that, I don't think City have a weakness. I think they've showed that they could, after Christmas, not lose. So, they know that they could win the league if they get there. So it's really the beginning of the season is your weakness. So can you gel that midfield and with all the new additions, and can it work?
It's an interesting but accurate weakness.
I'll jump in. I think the same thing as what somebody said for Liverpool about the pressure for Man City. I actually think the pressure is more on Man City because honestly, they did exhaust all of their excuses last year with saying injuries, everyone fumbles. We have everyone drops one. We can't win it 5 years in a row. I think that was their year to be like, listen, we're not perfect. We can't keep winning. There's other competition. You guys had huge injuries. You guys had a lot of movement. I think the pressure showed with the coach down. We saw how stressed out he was. I think more pressure is on Man City to see if they flop a second time. And if they do, that is now going to be chirping and a lot more pressure. I also think experienced center backs. I think experienced center backs is going to be huge for you guys because you guys have a lot of young center backs. I'm trying to think who's your main center backs. Oh well, you guys have Ruben Diaz, but also is he still like
Well,
a
it,
prominent
it
center back?
depends. It depends. If he stays healthy, yes.
Yeah.
If John Stones stays healthy, yes. If Akanji stays healthy, yes. If Ake stays healthy, yes.
But also,
have
like those are,
experience.
I guess, those are the ones I'm talking. I feel like the Ake, the Akanji, like those players who like really haven't played. I don't think they have much experience. I don't consider them experienced because they barely played. They are in that weird. They came in young, but they got hurt, so they didn't really play because they were behind two people. Then you guys got Guardiol. Then you guys had that other guy, Kushanov or whatever. So it's like they didn't even get an opportunity. So like if you guys lose your main center back, you guys are now in this like youth kick of center backs where I feel like could be tough.
So I will carry on from your weaknesses because it really kind of translates to Pep has a lot of loyalty to the Unks, and he has a hard time, or at least has recently had a hard time giving the younger guys valuable minutes outside of, FA Cup, Carabao Cup. He has a tough time giving the younger guys minutes mid-season or around Christmas where, you have match after match after match after match. I think their biggest weakness is the aging legs in the midfield and in the defense and letting young players that you spent a lot of money on actually play in those situations. The depth in the back line is an issue because based on the last couple of seasons, our center backs do love to get injured. Ake missed a lot of time last year. Kanji missed a lot of time last year. Deesh missed some time last year. Stones always ends up getting injured. So then you have a guy like Kusanov who, gets thrown into a match against Chelsea, gets thrown into a match against Real Madrid. And he looked good, but you could tell he was shitting his pants. They didn't bring in a natural right back. They have Mateus Nunes coming in as your potential everyday right back. I mean, Pep's done a good job of converting midfielders into wingbacks in his systems. Like Zinchenko provided the assist that we needed to win the league. Fabian Delph, midfielder, ended up being a pretty decent left back for City. So if he can take Nunes, who, by the way, was clocked as the fastest player in the Premier League last season as a right back. That is a stat, Nikos. I know you're kind of, Nunes had the fastest recorded speed in the Premier League last season. So as a midfielder who's good at carrying the ball and good at delivering, potentially that becomes a strength. We don't know. He was caught a couple times ball watching when he moved to right back, but I really think it's the back line that's going to be the question mark. I think they brought a lot of good signings in for their offense because one of their biggest weaknesses was the fact that they had a hard time scoring against teams who put 11 guys in the box. I think Cherki is your solution to that problem, and I think Foden having his head back and being back in the squad is, that's your solution on the right and the left. So, yeah, it's the back line that's a question mark for me.
Does Foden start?
Last season, he was not in a good place mentally, and it totally affected him on the pitch.
I still see
So
him
he
not
didn't-
starting. Marmouche on the left, Holland up top, maybe Foden on the right.
Well, would you not have Doku starting if he's that good?
He's going to have to rotate his team, right?
Well, because I feel like I could see. Oh, it's one of those things where I feel like Foden could also play the cam.
Yeah, like De Bruyne's not
Foden
there.
can play on the left. He could play
Yeah,
on the
but
right. He
that's-
could play
but that's
midfield
Turkey's
between the
spot.
lines.
That's why I said midfield because I was like, well, who does? Is it Shirky's
Who do you
spot?
guys-
Is it Foden's spot? Who's going to be?
Who do you guys have on the right?
Savinho.
That's
it's gonna be-
that's going to be the replaceable one.
He is and he
Yeah,
isn't.
but
I mean,
Foden's also not good at a wing.
Foden's
Yeah,
better in the
Foden's
middle
better-
of the field.
Better centrally. Like if it was my team, you'd have to have Holland, you'd have to have Marouche because he's been fantastic. I guess you'd do
Yeah.
Savinho and see if Doku can play over there and see if you could just rotate those two, go hot hand, and then Rodri, Shirky on one side, Foden on the other. That's your.
So the problem
I don't
you
know.
run into as Manchester City is because you have an attack that is attacking players that are so dynamic, teams tend to just put the back line deep so you can't beat them over the top. Which was one of the problems we had. Ederson has the most assists for a goalkeeper in Premier League history because he could start with the ball and assist from a goal kick. So lines like to play deep, which ends up being 11 men in the box, and it's a lot of right wing pass to center mid to DM, DM to center mid to wing. That's what you see a lot of. So that's why Cherky and Foden, as in those situations against those types of teams, they're guys that like to play between the lines, and they can make the pass to Holland or to the winger that ends up in a goal. So I think they made a lot of really good additions on offense to allow them to be versatile against different teams. Because in the Champions League, Madrid, they're not going to put 11 in the box, right? Xabi Alonso isn't going to do that. Arsenal did it on Easter, but you know, maybe you see a little less of that out of them. Liverpool's not going to do it, and there are some clubs like Brighton likes to go at it.
Yeah,
Brighton doesn't put 11 in the box.
Arsenal
So,
have the same
like, in
problem.
order
You
to
can't-
win, in order to win as many games as you can against as many teams that have different tactics as you can, you need to be able to have versatility in the way that you line up.
Yeah,
So
I think
that's why people love Pep, because he does that. And minus that one time that they had a DM in every single match of the season until they played in the Champions League final against Chelsea, where he did not have a DM and they lost.
Yeah. No, I think Arsenal have the same problem. Beating that low block is so challenging, which is why I think we want another left winger, because we're so dependent on Saka making a fantastic move and getting around. It's like, you know, we need something to get around that. But I think that was pretty good for
Sorry
everybody's
for my
weakness.
incredibly long diatribe on
you're
Manchester City.
Good. You're good. You're good. But I wanted to set up next episode. So next episode is going to be the day after our fantasy draft.
It's going to be a good one.
That's going to be a good one. So that one might be a little
Probably
longer.
the best episode yet.
I want to go through all of our fantasy teams. We can go through our fantasy teams, but then also this is your homework, everybody. Everybody make your full prediction table. First to last, full table. And JP had a good idea of a score system where, let's just say you think United are going to finish 5th and they finish 10th, you would get 5 points. So you would want the lowest score to win. That would mean that you had everybody accurate. So you were off by 5 places, plus or minus doesn't matter. So you got 5 points. So then whoever has the lowest amount of points means that they got the people closest to where they finished. And that's how you would score them. So we're all going to come up with our full table. Winner, top 5 probably this year, because I think English should get another spot for Champions League. Who gets relegated and all that.
I have a good question for the people at home. If you got the number 1 or 2 pick in your Premier League draft, who are you picking at 1, 2, maybe even 3? Who's going first for you, or second or third? So who do you put as the number 1 person to go?
Great question.
That is a great question.
Are we doing the top goal scorer prediction, top assists, all that, or no?
Yeah, we can definitely. Yeah. Golden boot.
Yeah.
Most saves, right? The Golden Glove. And
Beautiful.
Hell yeah.
yeah. Well, thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you next week.
As he does it.
Peace.